The Middle East stands on the precipice of a wider conflict as Israel launches military operations against Iranian allies across the region. These strikes, targeting facilities and personnel linked to Iran's expanding influence, represent a significant escalation in the long-standing shadow war between the two regional powers. From Syria to Lebanon, the reverberations of these attacks are felt far beyond the immediate blast zones, raising fears of a conflagration that could engulf the entire region. The situation is made all the more volatile by the deep-seated historical grievances, competing geopolitical interests, and the involvement of external actors, all contributing to a powder keg atmosphere where miscalculation or misjudgment could have catastrophic consequences. The recent escalation can be traced back to a series of tit-for-tat incidents, including attacks on Israeli-linked shipping in the Persian Gulf and the alleged sabotage of Iranian nuclear facilities. However, the roots of this conflict run far deeper, entangled with the complex historical tapestry of the Middle East. Understanding the current situation requires looking back at pivotal events that have shaped the regional landscape, particularly the 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq and its enduring ramifications. The 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq, launched with the promise of dismantling Saddam Hussein's regime and spreading democracy, instead ignited a chain reaction that continues to destabilize the region. While the initial military campaign swiftly removed Saddam from power, the subsequent occupation and efforts at nation-building proved far more challenging. The U.S., lacking a comprehensive post-invasion plan, struggled to contain the sectarian violence and political instability that engulfed Iraq in the aftermath of the invasion. This instability created fertile ground for the resurgence of extremist groups, most notably Al-Qaeda in Iraq, the precursor to the Islamic State, ISIS. Within this chaotic environment, Iran, long wary of Saddam's ambitions and seeing an opportunity to expand its regional influence, seized the moment. By supporting Shia militias and political factions within Iraq, Tehran gradually entrenched itself in the country's political and security apparatus. Proponents of Israel's offensive strategy argue that it is a necessary response to Iran's relentless pursuit of regional hegemony and its development of ballistic missiles and nuclear capabilities. They contend that Iran, emboldened by the perceived reluctance of the international community to confront its actions, poses an existential threat to Israel and undermines regional stability. From this perspective, waiting for Iran to acquire nuclear weapons is not an option, and preemptive action is deemed essential to neutralize the threat before it materializes fully. Furthermore, supporters of Israel's approach emphasize the need to degrade Iran's network of proxy militias, which they view as instruments of Tehran's destabilizing influence. Groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, armed and funded by Iran, are seen as posing a direct threat to Israel's security and requiring a robust response. By targeting these groups and disrupting their supply lines, Israel aims to diminish Iran's ability to project power and exert influence beyond its borders. Central to this argument is the belief that a strong military response is the only language Iran understands. Advocates for this viewpoint argue that diplomacy and sanctions have failed to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions or its support for regional proxies. They believe that only a credible military threat, coupled with decisive action, can compel Iran to alter its behavior and negotiate from a position of weakness.